From the first king of a united England in 924 to the crown we know today, every single English monarch has a wild, unbelievable tale that your history books completely skipped. Over 11 centuries, these rulers shaped Britain with drama, courage, heart, and a whole lot of chaos. This is the secret side of every English monarch, their craziest stories. Athelstan, crowned at Kingston upon Thames on the 4th of September, 925 at around age 30. This first true king of all the English once had his crown placed on a statue of the Virgin Mary because he felt unworthy of wearing it himself. Edmund I succeeded at just 18 in 939 and reconquered the north, but was tragically stabbed to death by an outlaw during a feast at age 25, right in the middle of his own party. Edred took the throne at around 23 in 946 and finally booted out the last Viking king of York, though terrible stomach troubles plagued him his whole short life. Eadwig, crowned at Kingston at just 15 in 955, legend says his coronation was delayed because he snuck off to hook up with a noblewoman while the guests waited. Edgar the Peaceful succeeded at age 16 in 959 and gave England 16 years of calm. His epic coronation in Bath in 973 had 6 kings rowing his barge on the River Dee like a total power move. Edward the Martyr, crowned at just 12 in 975 and murdered at Corfe Castle in 978 at age 16, lured there by his own stepmother's plot for her son. Ethelred the Unready became king at about 10 in 978 and tried buying off the Danes with massive silver payments, while Viking invasions kept coming. Ill-advised was the perfect nickname. Sweyn Forkbeard, the Danish conqueror, seized the throne in 1013 at age 50 and became the first Danish king of England, but he only lasted 5 wild weeks before dying suddenly. Edmund Ironside fought like a lion for the throne in 1016 at around age 26, but was assassinated after just 7 months. Legend says he was stabbed while on the toilet. Snut the Great, crowned in 1016 at about 21 and ruled England, Denmark, and Norway wisely. Legend says he once sat on the beach and commanded the tide to stop, just to prove a point to his flattering courtiers. Harold Harefoot succeeded at around 19 in 1035 and held the throne against rivals, but family power struggles were everywhere. Harthacnut took over at 22 in 1040 with harsh taxes that made him unpopular fast. He died at just 24 in 1042 after collapsing at a drinking party. Edward the Confessor, crowned at around 39 in 1043 and built Westminster Abbey, but his childless succession crisis opened the door to the Norman invasion. Harold Godwinson, crowned the very same day Edward died in January 1066 at age 44. He defeated the Norwegian invasion at Stamford Bridge, then faced William the Conqueror just days later at Hastings. William I the Conqueror, crowned on Christmas Day 1066 at Westminster Abbey at age 38. When he died at 59 in 1087 after a riding accident, his swollen body wouldn't fit in the coffin. The priests tried to force it in and his guts exploded, clearing the church with the stench. William II Rufus succeeded at around 31 in 1087 and expanded royal power, but was shot by an arrow, maybe accidentally, maybe not, in the New Forest at age 44 in 1100. His body was left lying there for hours. Henry I, crowned at age 31 in 1100, just days after his brother's death. He died at 67 in 1135 from eating way too many lampreys. Classic medieval overindulgence. Stephen, took the throne in 1135 at around 43 after a swift coup and held it through 19 years of civil war known as the Anarchy. He once survived a shipwreck because he had sudden diarrhea and left the boat early. Henry II, crowned at 21 in 1154 and built massive legal reforms and an empire from Scotland to France, but the murder of Thomas Becket and rebellions from his own sons haunted him. Richard I, the Lionheart, crowned at 32 in 1189 and became the legendary Crusader king who won epic battles in the Holy Land. He spent almost no time in England and needed a massive ransom after being captured. John, crowned at 32 in 1199 and signed Magna Carta in 1215, limiting royal power forever, but lost most French lands and faced barons' revolt. He died at 49 in 1216 from dysentery after a massive feast. Henry III, crowned at just 9 in 1216 and reigned 56 years while rebuilding Westminster Abbey. Though barons' wars and Simon de Montfort's parliament kept things chaotic. Edward I Longshanks, crowned at 33 in 1272 and conquered Wales while building stunning castles. He once escaped captivity as a prince by challenging his guards to horse races and swapping fresh mounts. Edward II, crowned at 23 in 1307 with early military wins, but favorite scandals and defeat at Bannockburn led to his deposition. Legend says he was murdered in 1327 at age 43 with a red-hot poker. Edward III, crowned at 14 in 1327 and started the 100 Years' War with huge victories at Crecy and Poitiers. He founded the Order of the Garter after a lady's garter slipped at a dance, and he declared, "Honi soit qui mal y pense." Richard II, crowned at 10 in 1377 and became a patron of the arts in Chaucer's golden era. But tyranny and the peasants' revolt followed. He was deposed at age 33 and likely starved to death in captivity. Henry IV, crowned at 32 in 1399 after usurping Richard and stabilized the throne despite constant rebellions and painful health woes that left him covered in sores. Henry V, crowned at 26 in 1413 and won the legendary Battle of Agincourt, but dysentery cut his life short at age 35 in 1422. Henry VI, crowned at just 9 months old in 1422 and founded Eton and King's College, Cambridge. But mental breakdowns in the Wars of the Roses followed. He was deposed twice and murdered at 49 in 1471. Edward IV, crowned at 19 in 1461 and restored order after the Roses Wars, but family betrayals and a legendary appetite followed. He died at 40 in 1483, probably from pneumonia after a cold fishing trip. Edward V, crowned but never officially, at 12 in 1483. The boy king disappeared in the Tower of London with his brother in the tragic Princes in the Tower mystery. Richard III, crowned at 30 in 1483 as a brave soldier and reformer, but the prince's disappearance and betrayal at Bosworth Field followed. He was killed in battle at 32 in 1485, the last Plantagenet king. Henry VII, crowned at 28 after Bosworth in 1485 and ended the Wars of the Roses while founding the Tudor dynasty, but lived in constant fear of plots and slept with a crossbow by his bed. Henry VIII, crowned at 17 in 1509 and broke with Rome to create the Church of England while building a powerful navy, though 6 wives, massive religious upheaval, and a 52-inch waist came with it. Edward VI, crowned at 9 in 1547 and pushed strong Protestant reforms, but fragile health took him at age 15 in 1553 from what was probably tuberculosis. James I, crowned at 36 in 1603, already James VI of Scotland, and united the crowns while sponsoring the King James Bible, but he was obsessed with witches and wrote a whole book about them. Charles I, crowned at 24 in 1625 and became a patron of the arts, but civil war after dissolving Parliament led to his execution by beheading at 48 in 1649. The only English monarch ever executed, his head was sewn back on for burial. Charles II, restored and crowned at 30 in 1661 as the Merry Monarch, who brought theater, science, and fun back after the Commonwealth. He kept a secret laboratory and once dissolved a pearl in wine to impress a mistress. James II, crowned at 51 in 1685 as a naval reformer, but his Catholic faith sparked the Glorious Revolution. He was deposed at 54 and died in exile at 67 in 1701. William III and Mary II jointly crowned at 38 and 26 in 1689 and delivered the Glorious Revolution plus the Bill of Rights, though Mary died at 32 in 1694 and William at 51 in 1702 after his horse tripped on a molehill. George I, crowned at 54 in 1714 as the first Hanoverian king who spoke almost no English and left governing to ministers, while keeping 2 German mistresses nicknamed the Elephant and the Maypole. George II, crowned at 43 in 1727 and was the last king to lead troops in battle, though family feuds and wars followed. He died at 76 in 1760 on the toilet. George III, crowned at 22 in 1761 and oversaw empire growth while keeping Britain strong even after losing America. At the peak of his madness, he once tried to shake hands with a tree, thinking it was the King of Prussia. George IV, crowned at 57 in 1820 after years as regent, and sparked a Regency arts boom but wore a corset to hide his enormous belly, and once hosted a feast so lavish the bill nearly bankrupted the country. William IV, crowned at 64 in 1830 as the sailor king who passed the Reform Act 1832, expanding voting rights, though he had no legitimate children and once fired a cannon on his own ship just for fun. Edward VII, crowned at 59 in 1902 as the peacemaker who strengthened European alliances, though his playboy reputation included a legendary collection of over 50 pairs of velvet slippers and a habit of eating so much he needed a special chair. George V, crowned at 44 in 1911 and changed the royal house name to Windsor during WWW War. He was a heavy smoker who demanded every meal be carved with a special knife and once muttered swear words while shaving. Edward VIII, crowned but abdicated before coronation. At 41 in 1936 and chose love over duty to marry Wallace Simpson after just 326 days. He later shocked everyone by giving Nazi salutes during a 1937 visit to Germany. George VI, crowned at 41 in 1937 and led Britain through World War II While staying in London during the Blitz despite a terrible stutter, he once got stuck in an elevator with his entire cabinet. Charles III ascended at age 73 on September 8, 2022 and crowned on May 6, 2023 in a modern ceremony. This champion of the environment talks to his plants and swears they answer back, and still travels everywhere with his own custom toilet seat for comfort. That wraps up every English monarch's craziest story. The wild, unbelievable ones nobody taught you in school. Which ruler's tale shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments below. If you love this hidden side of royal history, smash the like button, share it with your fellow history fans, and subscribe to Just History TV for more epic untold stories from Britain's past. We'll see you in the next one.